What's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video we're diving into some PvP with a bunch of villains. Villains have become incredibly strong over the last couple of months with the release of the verse characters in Luffy vs Kaido and Blackbeard vs Law. The Blackbeard and Kaido counterparts to these verse characters have just destroyed the PvP game mode, and Blackbeard especially has just come in and absolutely decimated the meta. On top of that, we got a whole bunch of new Blackbeard pirates who just complement this team even more. The addition of San Juan Wolf and Alvaro Pizarro just works absolutely wonderful on this Driven Powerhouse build, and you can just bring a whole bunch of villain characters like Cross Guild, Lucci. You could throw Big Mom on the team, Dofi on the bench if you guys really want to as well, and do some really fun things. And right now, this team just seems to be running through basically everything you put in front of it. In today's video, we are focusing on taking on Int particularly. As of before this particular team, I did have Int as the best team in the game. Has so much versatility, has so many different characters you can bring, and works so damn well as I have a bunch of very powerful units like Luffy, S-Hawk, Blackbeard, hell, you could have like 6+ Bonnie, Yamato, those types of characters, all wreak absolute havoc. But with this particular build, we have some very cheeky shenanigans with Cross Guild. We can do some crazy rollback stuff. We obviously have the 6 driven characters that we need for Cross Guild, being Blue Jam, Kaido, or is it 6 or 5? I think it's only 5 actually. Yeah, I think it's only 5. Having the 5 driven characters for the passive of Cross Guild to buff driven characters, and then obviously Kaido just hitting like an absolute truck, buffing decks, which the new characters in Alvaro Pizarro and San Juan Wolf actually are. So with the release of these two PvP units, honestly on paper, initially, I didn't think they were like super game breaking. The San Juan Wolf I always thought was going to be a very powerful character. Could definitely find a way into the team, whether you're running Driven, whether you're running Powerhouse, whether you're running just straight a Dex team that is sort of complemented in by both Driven or Powerhouse. But the Pizarro has definitely surprised me. Like, his special being on a 25-second cooldown, applying Mischance, special binding. The special bind at 80% is kind of whatever, but at the same time, like, I see that special bind hit so many times that it actually seems like it's a 100% chance if you can hit the right characters. With that, you give half stats to very annoying characters like S-Hawk, like Whitebeard Roger, like those big boppers, even like, what's his name? King and Kid over on the strength team. Well, not so much Kid anymore, but the special bind just works wonders for characters like Strength Luffy. So if you can't half stats them, you can usually special bind them, and if you can't special bind them, you can usually half stats them, and that's what makes Alvaro Pizarro just so nice. He just does both. So whether or not, like, say if your unit's immune to one of them, you can basically hit them with the other. So works out great. The San Juan Wolf character just does an absolute crazy counter, not only for himself, but for the entire team. He provides Provoke on himself, and if you have 6 Driven or Powerhouse characters on the team, he gives himself a shield and a massive defensive buff. As you can see, he's rocking 16 defense compared to the rest of the team that's looking at around sort of like 9-ish. We are getting a little bit nerfed with characters like Yamato and Blackbeard on the opposite team. But his special applies a counter mechanic, and he applies this to all Driven Powerhouse characters, not just himself. Now, he does give Provoke to himself, which you'd think, well, why does everyone else need countering if he's the one that has Provoke? Well, the way that attacks work is when a unit is attacking a character, another unit cannot target them as an attack. And attacks in PvP actually overlap. You'll probably see, like, a character that's doing a normal attack, the next character will start moving to make their attack, and whilst they're not attacking exactly, see like that, like S-Hawk was started to move whilst Nami Ukraine was attacking. Whilst it doesn't impact too much, when it comes to the counter mechanic, if someone's already attacking San Juan Wolf, another character can basically pick anyone else in the lineup. Having the counter apply to everyone means that when that happens, say a special's launched targeting San Juan Wolf, another unit will go and target another unit. You can actually utilize that counter to your advantage, so that works out really nicely. He's just a very good defensive character. San Juan Wolf works great in the front lines, and then you can complement him with Cross Guild, who can roll back specials, give you CD reduction, do some fun stuff there. So this int team that we went up against was actually a pretty big int team. We're running Nami Karina in the front, which is a very cheeky little combination you can utilize with Yamato as well, and it works very nicely. I do think that 6+ Bonnie has kind of like taken the reins in that particular regard. But even with some pretty bad RNG here, we actually just have such a strong bench that our bench comes in and we're just in a really good spot regardless. So works out wonderfully there. If you guys don't have Blue Jam, you can use Porchemi. That'll definitely work. If you don't have either, you just want to basically use a driven character here. Another really good character would be something like Fuji. The quick Fuji would be a really good option as well. or using something like a Orochi could definitely work in your favor as well, just so you get like that driven powerhouse combination for both Blackbeard and for Crossskill. But Blackbeard just coming in and devouring the meta just works absolutely wonderful for villain-based teams. If you're running basically quick, strength, or dex nowadays, or int, and you have Blackbeard, you basically just bring Blackbeard. Like, he fits so well on these teams in these wonky setups because he doesn't actually buff your entire team. He actually just nerfs the entire team. So whilst you're sort of putting him on the team and you're putting the rest of your team in a bit of a detriment, you don't really need the team to buff Blackbeard. He can just do his thing on the wing. You chuck him on the sides, you try and protect him as much as possible, keep him alive for as long as possible, and he's going to put the opposite team in a really bad spot for a really long time. The CD reduction, the special reverse, the defense reduction, the attack down, it works also nicely on such a very low cooldown because he gives himself level 10 cooldowns. Ideally, you want to have 5 powerhouse characters on his team, no matter what you're running, but strength, dex, and quick are all littered with disgustingly strong powerhouse characters. They're basically everywhere, and if you wanted to run a more driven powerhouse setup, he just sort of finds his way over there. I did actually build a powerhouse team, which I'm going to do a separate video on, taking down the new PvP challenge. That new PvP challenge is actually pretty tough. So if you're not running something like strength, or if you're not running something like a good strength nerfing team, or if you're not running something that has sort of like Blackbeard and strength Luffy, you are going to find it a little bit challenging. So I will do a separate video over there with Powerhouse, but for now, this team right here does seem to be ideally the best team in the game. It just tests, like I said, it tests for everything. Like, we've tested it on a lot of different challenge fights. We've tested it throughout the meta against slashes, against strength, against ints. Psy might get the jump on it. I haven't really tested it against like a really big Psy team with Garp. Garp seems to be just very, very strong in PvP, so that team might get the jump on it, but if I can find something to test it with, I will. But for now, I just sort of haven't really been able to find anything really that can take it down. The cross-skill shenanigans, the damage Kaido has, the shenanigans of Blackbeard has, and all of the tanking and shenaniganry that the new characters are doing works really, really well. So I'm a big fan of the team. If you guys are running the new PvP units, let me know what you guys are running. I did put out a Dex Powerhouse video not too long ago that did utilize basically the same type of characters, except we had more of a Dex lineup. We didn't have cross-skilled. I believe we had Pell in the front lines, and then we were using something like Big Mom on the bench. Big Mom and Doflamingo are other really, really good options over something like Lucci. But remember, you do have to build out the powerhouse, 5 powerhouse criteria. But with Blackbeard, Sanjuan, Wolf, Pizarro, and Kaido and Pell, you are going to have that anyway. So Pell hits really, really hard with his level limit break. You can definitely run him in the front lines, but he's not going to be giving the cooldown reduction to Blackbeard. Rather, he's giving it to Pizarro, which honestly, Pizarro goes so fast, even with negative cooldowns, that like having Blackbeard with the cooldown works better because Blackbeard's rollback, his nerfing capabilities, and his dot damage is way more valuable in my opinion than just getting Alvaro to just go a little bit quicker. Remember, Kaido's buffing Dex characters, so you're getting the extra buffs there, while Cross-Skilled and Blackbeard are both missing out on those buffs. So just be very mindful of that. I find having Kaido on the far right-hand side works the best. I did some other stuff where I had him in the middle slots, and he was kind of like not hitting as hard, or he wasn't going off as quickly, and I found that cross-skill sort of just works better in those sort of middle area slots, as they are just doing very, very nice stuff for driven characters, provided you obviously have those 5 driven, which this team definitely does. So let me know what you guys think of the team in the comment section below. While you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. If you guys enjoy PvP as much as me, let me know, and if you have any ideas for some teams. I did see a lot of people sort of put out, say, hey Stump, how do you think Pizarro will go on a Free Spirit team? I'd be curious to try that. I just don't really have the pieces of the puzzle to like something like Dex Free Spirit. Look, it definitely can be done, and I definitely think that there is a team in there somewhere. My boy Itachi put out like a Free Spirit, weird-ass Free Spirit team, and it seemed to work fairly nicely, but again, that team's just not even going to be close to something like a top 10. Like this one here, which is like destroying everything in its path, which is absolutely crazy. But the moral of today's video is I wanted to really showcase villains, how powerful they are in PvP. They're doing absolutely disgusting things, and with the addition of these crazy-ass PvP rare recruits they keep giving us every single month, on top of these crazy legends and PvP legends, the PvP metagame, it just continuously evolves, and it's really fun to see. But if you enjoyed the video, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.